Hello everybody. As a part of this demonstration, we are going to introduce the mFramework solution from HSC. This solution is applicable in the area of mobile terminals and development of mobile applications. Having said that, this is a complete framework which has both the client and the server components, which enables any kind of uh, enterprise or a service provider to build applications without the knowledge of any SDK or any programming language. It enables them to integrate with the value-added service providers backend implementation, so that applications with rich features can be provided to mm, the users of the cell phone uh, for varied kind of functionality. The applications range from e-commerce applications to advertising applications to any daily need applications like booking tickets or railway or airfare reservations. Having said this, the basic premise based on which this framework is built on is a transport mechanism. All the applications are distributed onto the handsets using SMS or GPRS, and the applications can also be can do transactions with the far end server, whether it's a value added service provider server or any other application server provided over an SMS based transport or an IP based transport. Having it on an SMS based transport enables us to penetrate a larger set of people who may or may not have an IP data path, but for the people who have possibility of having an IP data path, it is important and it is helpful to have an SMS kind of a transport mechanism for the redundancy support in case of service availability from the IP data path. Now, on the screen is given a complete network diagram of our solution and the various components of that solution. The first component of our solution, as you can see into the diagram, is an author, and this author can be hosted on a server like this. Here we have termed this server as an application deployment server, and we will talk about it, what it is, what this application deployment server is further. But our first focus is on the author. So as I have told that this component is composed of four major components. The first component is an author. It can be hosted on any server, and this author is a web-based server wherein it could be Apache or Tomcat or whatever it is, and a person can log into the author from a remote uh, PC, and this author is kind of a text editor, or you can say it is like an application editor, or in layman terms you can say it is a Microsoft Word kind of a environment which is provided to the user to build application, to build mobile handset applications. The author provides various controls, so there is a small screenshot you can see, and the author provides various controls here, and there is a user area in which on which you can build applications. You can drag and drop controls over it, align them to some form, and with each control you can add some controls and rules which should be executed. For example, there is a button you have added here. You do a click on this, and on click you expect something to happen. It should talk to the value added service provider, or it should wait for a message, etc. Those kind of rules can be put here. Now, once this author is once an application is ready on this author, you can test it. There is a support of an application of an emulator, and I will show you once in a real demo what that emulator is once we make the application. So you can you test your application on that emulator before it is actually deployed on an actual handset. Now, once the application is ready, you can save it, and now the next task is to upload it into one of the handset. To deploy it on a handset, we need another entity, which is the second component of our solution known as an application deployment server. So once we have developed an application using an author, we upload it onto an application deployment server, and there is a GUI based interface to this deployment server as well. You can see that this is an application deployment server UI, and you can access this deployment server, which will enable you to see that the application has been safely uploaded on this application deployment server. It is by means of this UI that you can it is by means of this UI that you can send the application which you have built and uploaded it on the application deployment server to the handsets. Now the next question is on how these applications are sent to the handset. These applications are sent to the handset via SMS. So once we do in the UI of the ADS, the application deployment server, there is a facility by means which you can give the phone numbers in one phone number or a list of phone numbers which is stored in a CSV file. And once you do a send on it using an HTTP IP path, the ADS talks to a SMS gateway, and that SMS gateway sends those applications to the handset over an SMS path. So this is the role of the application deployment server in the current solution. The third component, which is a very and the most important component of this solution, is the mFramework engine. Now this engine is deployed on the handsets. Now on these handsets, it is important that before you deploy any application on the handset, the engine is pre-deployed on the handsets. Now the next question would come to our mind is that how this engine is populated onto the handset. Again, the application deployment server also enables us to deploy the engine onto the handsets. The application deployment server provides us links on where that engine is hosted, and these links are sent to the handsets over SMS. Once the user opens the SMS, it gets a hyperlink, and on clicking on that hyperlink, the engine gets downloaded onto the handset and gets deployed on this. Now to deploy this engine, it is important that the handset has the IP connection, because the link can be browsed only if it has an IP connection. But there could be some handsets which do not have IP connection, and then at that point of time the engine can be manually installed on the handset using a Bluetooth or a USB or a normal data connection of the handset with the PC. So once the mFramework engine is loaded on these phones, the phones are ready to receive applications. Having said that, it is not needed that for different kinds of applications the engine has to be there is a different kind of engine. The engine is a client entity which is capable of handling any kind of application which has been built by the author. So even if they're from multiple enterprises, even multiple service providers, once the engine is onto the handset, it will be able to entertain any kind of applications. Now the engine is preloaded, and we have built an application uploaded it onto the ADS. ADS populates that application onto the handset. The user receives it, and once it receives that over an SMS or any other way, then the application is installed. It asks the user whether it wants to install that application. The user says yes. The application is installed, and then the user is ready to do transactions using that application. The transactions, as I told you, can be either the transaction. Suppose an application it gets is regarding getting a discount on a particular commodity, then that discount then to avail that discount, the application enables the user to provide the discount code over the SMS to the gateway of the commodity provider, and eventually it can do a transaction using that. So as you can see, the transport mechanism can either be SMS or IP, and it's through the minimal intervention where the user would have to manually send the SMSs, or whether the user will have to go to various screens through which through a web browser. Now using having this background about the mFramework solution, we will take you through a demonstration where we will build a sample application, and you will have to, we will test it on an emulator, we will upload it on an application deployment server, we will deploy it on a handset. But before doing that, we will first take you to the UI of the application deployment server and showcase you a handset on which we will install the mFramework engine. So I'm taking you to the screens of the application deployment server first. So this is the screen of the application deployment server. It is protected through a login and ID. And once we do a login, you can see various tabs. In these tabs, there is an application management tab. So people are using, developing applications using Author, and they are uploading it onto the application deployment server. And a list of applications which people have already made can be seen here. And it also shows us the size, that number of SMSs it is equal to, and then there is a support for sending it to multiple users or sending it to single user. And in case it's a single user, you will give a phone number here appended with the pre-appended with the country code. And in case it is multiple user, then you will give it using a CSV file. Now there is a tab you can see known as release management. This tab maintains the links on which the mFramework engine is available, and we will send this URL over SMS to one of the phone numbers so that engine can be pre-installed before we populate the handset with any kind of application. Uh, Having said that, you will see that there are multiple tabs like image management and user management. These are basically to control the functionality of an application deployment server in terms of access with various roles, whether these are admin rights, whether it's a developer right, management of multiple releases of the engine, generating reports on what all applications have been uploaded, when they were uploaded, how they were uploaded, to which servers which they have been installed. So we will demonstrate on, we will send the engine to a handset. So we will type in a number. So first we have selected the engine, and now we are typing the number. So we have sent this URL to a handset, and now I will show you that the handset will receive an SMS. So you can see the handset, and on this you can see that we have received, on this we will receive an SMS. So now the application has gone to the the mFramework engine. URL has been sent to the SMS gateway, and from the SMS gateway it will go to the handset of which we have given the number.